My name is Satinder. I'm not a doctor. This is not a medical advice. It's just based on my own research. So I'm here to provide you with an insight. Rimple did ask me what insulin resistance is all about. So let me define it a little bit. So anytime when we eat any food, either it's sugar or salty food, our body converts that food into glucose, especially after having carbs food like bread, rice, pasta. Our body converts that food into glucose. So when there's a glucose in our bloodstream, there's a little organ right underneath our stomach, pancreas.
Yeah,
Pancreas job is to create insulin.
that's correct.
Insulin itself is a hormone.
Yes.
So insulin job is to regulate that glucose which is currently traveling in our bloodstream.
Absolutely.
Insulin works as a doorkeeper.
Yes.
Insulin grabs that sugar and start giving out that sugar to all the cells within the tissues.
Absolutely.
So pancreas releases the insulin. Insulin job is to regulate the blood sugar which is currently in our bloodstream after having meal.
Okay.
So insulin works as a doorkeeper. So insulin, you can think of insulin as a key for the door.
That's right.
So insulin actually opens the door for all the cells. From top to bottom, we are made of cells. So every single cell in our body needs energy to function, like a fuel.
Yeah.
So how they get fuel or energy? They get fuel and energy from the glucose, which we get from the food.
That's right.
Correct? So insulin grabs that sugar and start distributing that sugar within the tissues within the cell. We are eating food, our body is converting that food into glucose. Pancreas releases hormone insulin. Insulin hormone goes out, grabs that sugar, start giving that sugar to the cells. Cells store that sugar either right away for fuel, like for energy, or later on for like stored. Cell use that energy for two purposes. Right away for the if our body needs some energy for fuel,
Yeah.
cell will use that energy right away. Otherwise, the insulin will tell the cell store this for later on use when there's no food in the body.
Absolutely.
Correct? So when we have a food, blood sugar goes up, insulin goes up. Okay, blood sugar goes down, insulin is still high. Insulin takes 4 to 6 hours to come down.
Yeah.
That's how it works, right?
Okay.
So now, because we are living in this modern food environment, we are surrounded by so much food. So, for example, I just have my lunch, and then I'm just gonna grab something like a chocolate bar or whatever it is, right? Whatever is available to me as
Yeah.
my little snack.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have that snack again. My insulin is still high because it takes 4 to 6 hours to come down.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And my blood sugar, because insulin is also grab that sugar and distribute it to all my cell. So my blood sugar is already low. When my blood sugar is low, my insulin is high. I feel hungry.
Yeah.
I feel sluggish. All right. The signal from my gut goes to my brain, tells my brain, "Hey, I'm still hungry. I need some food to eat." And then because we are living in this modern food environment, I start eating snack. I have probably like a chocolate bar or chips. My insulin is still high. Sugar goes up. Pancreas has to release more insulin to regulate that sugar. So when our sugar is chronically high and our insulin is chronically high, that's where the whole thing comes into play. All the diseases you can think. It takes like years and years for somebody to get into like a pre-diabetic.
Okay. So on that note, Joe, do you have anything to say about insulin? Do you understand the terminology?
Let me say let me
Yeah.
define it a little bit more about it. So because we are eating very frequent, after 2 hours, like we have a breakfast in the morning, and then right after our breakfast we eat something right
Yeah.
before lunch, or maybe not. Then we have our lunch, and then from our lunch up until our dinner, I used to grab snacks. Like sometimes like chips, chocolate, fruit, banana, apple, whatever it is, right? So I'm frequently eating
Yeah.
Therefore, my insulin is all the time high.
Yeah.
It's in medical terminology, it's called chronically high insulin. So when our insulin is all chronically high, we are turning into pre-diabetic.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when you turn into pre-diabetic, the next stage is type 2 diabetes. And when you are type 2 diabetes, from there, you can have so many other diseases, like chronic diseases, like, heart disease, stroke, kidneys, brain fog, stuff like that.
Okay.
So, what is the resolution? Like, why you go, like, you go to your doctor and he runs, like, blood test on you, and your blood sugar is like normal as per the doctor, because
Yeah.
at any given time in our bloodstream, there's like a 1 spoon of sugar, right, in our bloodstream. That's what it means when doctor says, hey, your blood sugar is normal.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they don't run the test on the insulin.
That's right.
Okay, so insulin is still high.
Yeah.
And doctors keep on saying, hey, your blood sugar is normal, your blood sugar is normal. All of a sudden, there's another blood test, and then your doctor says, hey, you know what? I think you are turning into pre-diabetic,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Why? Because your sugar is at the borderline. And then 6 months down the road, hey, you know what? I'm going to put you on this metformin, or whatever the medication your doctor would prescribe at that time. As per the doctor, you are crossed your borderline. Now you are up the borderline.
Yeah.
You are diabetic now. Now, what they have to, like, and initially, if medical people, they want to find out whether you are actually, pre-diabetic or diabetic, right? Before they put you on this medication, they should, like, run a test on you, insulin resistance test, in your fasted mode. So when you wake up in the morning, you are in fasting mode.
Yeah.
They should run this test during that time. And when the blood test is out,
Yep.
the way they actually measure this test, they divide your triglycerides with your HDL number. So the ratio should be below 2. If you are at 1.5 or below 2,
Yeah.
that's a good sign. You're good. But if your ratio is above 2, you are in danger zone. So that's where they will tell you, hey, you know what? You are diabetic now, right? You might have like type 2 diabetes. Have you heard of type 3 diabetes?
Yeah, it's a very common term I have heard from a lot of people. But to be honest, I'm not so sure what it is exactly. What at least, like, what's the causes and effects of this of this terminology, what it is.
So Alzheimer, okay, in medical terminology now is called type 3 diabetes.
Wow.
So because we are frequently eating, right? Or for the most part, we are eating, like, carbs,
Yeah.
starchy food, as usual, but not on, because from top to bottom we are made of cells. So the glucose also gets distributed to our brain.
Yeah.
So because of the frequent eating, our brain is getting constant sugar,
Absolutely.
right? Early in the morning up until night, before I hit my bed, I'm giving like tons of sugar to my brain,
Absolutely.
which is going in my brain.
Yeah.
So when our insulin is high, and when we keep it chronically high because of the frequent eating, most of the cells in our body, they become non-receptive to our insulin. Okay, insulin has given enough sugar to all the cells, like glucose. At
Yeah.
one point, the cell will say, hey, you know what? We don't need any more sugar from you, right?
Yeah.
We already have enough.
Yeah.
So at that time, think of your brain like an engine.
Yeah.
Okay, you need some sort of, like, gasoline or petrol or some sort of like energy, right, to run
Yeah.
your engine.
Yeah.
So when your cells are non-receptive to insulin resistance, they stop taking glucose from the food, and your brain is also, like, become insulin resistant.
Yeah.
So brain is not getting any glucose from the food.
Yeah.
And when there's less energy in our brain, there's no more like, energy going in our brain. People started to have Alzheimer, and this is part of dementia.
Absolutely.
Okay, so when insulin is high, there are so many other, like, things will come into play.